Hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel, and it's by Mandy. My name is Amanda and I'm getting married. This April, my fiance and I got engaged, and if you've ever been engaged or even just when like major life events happen, you know that people love to ask questions. Do you know where you're gonna have your wedding? Do you know what kind of dress you wanna wear? How many people are you gonna invite? Like, kind of a lot at once. And another question that I've been getting, because I am a knitter, is are you going to knit your wedding dress? I have found it interesting that a lot of knitters have not asked me if I'm going to knit my wedding dress, but a lot of my family members have, which I think the sentiment is very sweet, but I think knitters truly understand what a stressful undertaking knitting your own wedding dress must be. I've seen a lot of different designers make their own dresses and they've done it so well. But that journey is just not calling to me. It looks like a lot of time and a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress around something that can like already be a little stressful to plan. I still want to have some kind of handmade or knit element to my wedding or the events surrounding my wedding, and I wanted to do a roundup of bridal knitting patterns. I almost wanted to call this video like wedding knits for the modern bride, because I do feel like there is a very specific kind of knit garment that you'll see if you search for wedding garments, and it's usually something white and lacy. And there's nothing wrong with that, but that's just not my personal style. I think they're genuinely so beautiful, but I can't picture myself wearing something like that, or like I don't envision myself wearing something like that. Getting married next October, and I want the vibes to feel intimate. I want it to be very focused on us and our love, and to maybe have a little bit like of a funky vintage feel. That's what I have so far as like anchoring words and ideas for this wedding, and I've had a lot of fun curating a list of knitting patterns for all of the different events that surround a wedding. I just want to give a quick disclaimer because there is so much noise on social media about weddings that's like incredibly difficult to cut through. You don't have to knit anything for your wedding if you don't want to. This is just for fun. I just have to say it because there's so many people online telling you that you have to do all of these things for your wedding, and I think it's all kind of a scam. Into it, I've organized all the patterns by wedding event. So I have the bachelorette party. I've combined the shower and the rehearsal, kind of depending on where those venues are. Like that can vary so much in formality depending on who you are and like what the event is. Hair accessories, as well as some getting ready outfit ideas and some knitting patterns for the wedding itself. I want to start with the bachelorette party. I just went on one this July for one of my dear friends, and it was so much fun, and it really got me thinking of things that I might want to knit for mine. The first like really fun, I think quintessential almost, it like screams bachelorette to me, pattern is the Heartless Top by Emma from Midsummer Knits. Emma has been working on releasing this pattern, and I'm so excited that it's out now. This in black could be really cute. This in white, of course, very on the nose, very bridal. But her examples were knit in red and purple, which I also think is fun. And it's a tank top with a heart cut out in the chest. Get those like heart-shaped sunglasses to go with it to really like nail the theme home. Thinking of this with like a little veil, that could be so fun. And I just think it's flirty. It's almost like tongue-in-cheek. It's honestly iconic. I really love this tank top. I'm so excited for Emma, and this is definitely on my list for bachelorette knits. This is also knit in a DK weight, so a bit of a quicker knit. This is seamlessly knit from the top down, and I think there's an option to add wire to help keep the shape of the heart if you so choose. And it just looks like a really fun pattern to knit. So that's the Heartless Top. The next item is a tank top that I have made before, and I would love to give the pattern another go. I say this because I made this one very early on in my knitting career, and two in yarn that like I really didn't like. This is the Magnetic Force Tank by Not Your Grandma's Knits, and this is also a DK weight tank top that uses short rows to recreate like the image or the construction of a silk cami, like a cowl cami. And it's so cool. I think the construction is really smart. It is a project that like completely changes once you block it. My only issue with this pattern is that the suggested yarn is Lion Brand Trubu, and I hate that yarn. I hate it. I had a horrible time working with it, and I think this would be really fun and it would still work in maybe like a linen or silk blend or something of that sort, like a cotton silk, something with like, or even just like knitting for all of silk held double. I imagine I'll be purchasing some of that for any of my bridal knits, but I think this could be really fun as like just like a white cami to have. And then I feel like depending on your like bride level, I think some people like to wear white when they like go wedding dress shopping, or just like some people like to wear white when they're engaged because they're a bride. And I feel like this could be a good tank top to slot in and feel bridal in a white color. Yes, I would love to knit the magnetic force tank again. It's knit bottom up and then you do the short rows to help shape the cowl. It's a very simple construction. This was also like the first time I did short rows, so I would love to give this top another chance. And I think it's just like a good replication of a classic silhouette. Like, why wouldn't you want this in your wardrobe, bridal or otherwise? This next one is really fun, and it's also a really good gift idea if you know anyone getting married. It could be a good shower gift. There's a lot of chances to give someone gifts during their wedding. These are the bride socks by Kayla Raffuse. I hope I'm saying her name right. I'm really a sock knitter, but to me these look like a pretty vanilla sock with I think a slip stitch heel and a 2x2 ribbed cuff. The fun part is that they say bride on the ankle. These are so cute. And something I've been thinking about is that around weddings, there's a lot of just like stuff that you might not reuse again. But I think a sock that says bride, bear with me, is kind of like at least you would wear that around the house. You know, like I don't think I'd get sick of wearing my bride socks. I think that's kind of fun. And it's like a little nod. It's a little more subtle if you're not someone that wants to wear things like on their shirt or like on a hat or something like that. Like I think it's just like a little wink, a little nod to getting married, which is kind of more my vibe, more my style, and what I'm more likely to gravitate towards. So I think these bride socks are really fun, and I feel like I'm gonna have to put these in my pocket for a knit gift for some friends getting married in the future because they're really good. The next two tops feel a little bit more traditionally feminine and a little bit more obviously bridal to me. And the next one is the Concha top by Caledonia Dreamin'. This is a pattern in French that I believe was translated into English. It's knit in worsted weight. It looks like a pretty simple tank top with some slipped stitch detailing down the bodice, but the really, really cute part I think is the scalloped crocheted edge, which just adds that little bit of femininity, a little bit of sweetness to this tank top. So if you are more of a like, I almost said fruity, that's not the word. Maybe if you're fruity, hey. But if you're a little more of that like feminine, sweetsy, almost like girly style, I think this would be a really good option. It also appears to be knit with some negative ease, which I've realized I really like in summer knits or in short sleeved knits. And this one is knit in 100% linen yarn, which I love. I know not everyone loves knitting with plant-based fibers, but I just like love linen. I love linen dresses and pants, and I live in a very, very warm area, so linen is always like perfect for me. The next top in my like girly, frilly little tops, I feel this next one really punches up the girliness, is the Crumpet Camisole by Park Williams. This bottom up tank top is knit in a 7-stitch lace motif. It's knit on a sport weight cotton linen yarn. A few tops where I've been like, if I add sleeves, it could be wild. And I think this with sleeves could be really, really cool. I know I said like I didn't really like lacy things, but I almost like things that are completely lace rather than things with maybe like that are partly laced or like lace yoked. I really sometimes do like an all over lace motif. I've never knit anything like this before with a full lace motif. It's pretty simple, but I think the effect is quite dainty, quite girly, quite frilly. All of these things feel bridal in the right yarn. I think this could be great for a bachelorette party or even like a wedding shower. Picture this, like this knit as a dress with a slip underneath. That'd be really pretty. I'm having a lot of ideas. Also knit pretty loosely on 4.5mm needles. I imagine it would be a quick knit. You could also like probably tighten things up and make things less see-through if you wanted to and have less of like an open stitch. I know like Park Williams, Jessie Maid, who I have some patterns on here, I feel like they knit often with like a open breezy gauge, which I know is not everyone's beat, but can be really fun, I think, for bridal knits. The last two patterns are one that I've tried to knit before and another that I have. And these are if you want to knit a dress for your bachelorette or your wedding shower, honestly, or your rehearsal. Pick whatever wedding event you like to wear these to. And they're both knit dresses. So the first is the Milady's dress by Vert Knit. I had a lot of trouble getting gauge on this pattern, but I know that a lot of people haven't. So that's why I am recommending it. I think it's a really well written pattern. I just kind of had like my own issues with it. And the Milady's dress it's a partly made to measure pattern. It gives you specific instructions based on like 4 different measurements all over your body. This also comes in a top if you like it as well. And it is reversible. So you can wear it down the front with a buttoned with buttons that go all the way down in a v-neck, or if you turn it around, it has more of a square neck, kind of like the dress that I'm wearing right now. This in a white silk would be stunning. I'd honestly probably be too scared to wear it like any other time because I knit in a completely white silk dress. Like, what a precious thing to knit. Even if you knit this in another color, it could be fun for any kind of wedding event. And I just had to mention this because it's so beautiful. It's so feminine. It's gorgeous. I love it. And that is the Milady's dress. Another dress option with that, which I have made, is the Winona dress by Sari Nordlund. This is a complete opposite gauge-wise. The Milady's dress is a fingering weight, and Winona is, I think, a bulky weight. You knit it on 5mm needles, and it knits up so quickly. I knit it in about a month last summer, and I knit it in this like bright, shocking pink, which is really fun. And I think with some waist shaping, this could be a really great bridal pattern if you are like going on a beach bachelorette, or again, I think this could be a good shower option as well. I opted to make the straps wider when I did it, so that's an option. I will say the dress is like quite heavy and thick. I still think it's fun to wear. My only tip if you were to make this is just to like make things smaller than you think, because they're going to stretch out just by the mere weight and length of the dress. Next set of patterns, I picked more in mind for either a bridal shower or a rehearsal dinner or welcome drinks. I think we'll probably do a more like casual welcome drinks rather than like a more like formal sit down dinner, but you have your options. I want to start off with something that I don't know if I would honestly knit for myself, but it feels so feminine and modern and bridal that I just have to mention it, and it is the Souffle Tee by Laura Penrose. I have put this pattern like on videos in the past thinking that I might wear it. I don't honestly think that I would get a lot of everyday wear out of it just because of the material and honestly the style, but I think it's really sweet. Like, it's just not me perfectly. I think I could get something that felt like more me, but I wanted to mention it because it looks so beautiful on all the people that have knit it, and I think it like is so bridal. It's knit in mohair held together. That's my other thing, like mohair held together, that sounds a little like, that's where I get a little dicey with things. Like, that doesn't sound like an ideal time. I'm a sweaty girl, and thinking about like being at an event where I'm like running around and saying hi to people in mohair doesn't honestly sound super practical for me, like no matter what the season is. That being said, I think this is so pretty and I want you to knit it for your wedding so I can see what it looks like. There are options of it knit with long sleeves or short sleeves. I kind of like the longer sleeve options, and it has this really sweet ruffle kind of going across the chest. And then this top panel is more sheer. I think this is knit with one strand of mohair, and then the bottom is knit like held together. I think the chunky souffle could be a really cute option if you're doing like a winter mountain bachelorette party. I think that would be really cute as well. I think she has like a chunky sweater version that's knit in like an Aran weight too, if you want a fun little ruffle. Because I think it's like the time that you want to wear like a ruffle across your chest. I can't explain it. My friend and I joke that like when you get engaged or when you're planning a wedding, like a worm enters your brain and like it says and does things that you normally wouldn't otherwise. And my worm is like ruffles across the chest, you know? It's not always a bad thing. It's just like, it like activates something different in your brain. These next 3 sweaters play on an idea of something airy and something fluffy. I know I just said like I probably don't want to wear mohair, but these are all mohair or suri patterns. I feel like in searching for bridal patterns, if I didn't want to do something like lacy, fluffy came to mind. So we'll see where I actually end up landing on these items. And the first is a Jessie Maid pattern. This is the sheer V sweater to the souffle tee. It has mohair held double, and then on the top decolletage, this area. And then on this area, it has a single strand of mohair, kind of making that illusion of having a sheer panel. And the sample is knit in a white yarn. I think this would be really good for a welcome drinks. I'm picturing all of these with like a long white silk skirt. Like, are you with me? And like a bow in my hair. All things girly and frilly, right? The worm, she's talking. The one thing I love about this, and I love about Jessie Maid, is that she doesn't do a lot of tapered sleeves. And like, I just love the look of a wider sleeve, and I love the sheer panel as well. It's a little sexy, it's a little fun, while still keeping things, you know, like Coach for grandma. I think her older sister would be the Ghost Whisperer by Park Williams. And this was another vision that I had. A long white silk skirt, a white bodysuit or like tank top, like tight tank top underneath, and then over top is a very sheer see-through mohair sweater. And that is the Ghost Whisperer that I'm picturing over top. I think that could also be a really fun bridal look, very like light, frilly. It's a little bit more modern. My honest question about this, I don't know how good just like white mohair knit on a loose gauge would look. I think either maybe like a Surrey, maybe like a special kind of mohair. I'm thinking maybe it has a little like variegation to it. Maybe it's dyed a little. Could be fun, a little interesting, but I think it is kind of a thin line of something looking like dainty when you knit it this open versus it looking kind of like messy, kind of veering into like more like subversive styling of knitting, which I think it's very cool in its own right, but like not, I think, what I want to go for anything for my wedding. Like my hesitation with this one, but I still think it could be fun. Last one to kind of marry these two together, I would say it's the most conservative option is the Provence sweater. This is a Sorella pattern, and it's a circular yoke top-down sweater knit in, I think, a Surrey alpaca held double. So definitely it would be warm, but it looks like so drapey and cozy. Just like, I've been thinking about this sweater like since it came out and wanting to knit something like this, but knowing that probably like a Surrey sweater would be really hot. It just looks very sweet, very simple as well if you don't want something like truly see-through. Looks like a very fun and quick knit. This is also knit on a loose gauge on 4.5mm needles. The last two tank tops in this category are by the same designer, Starcross Knits, and this first tank top is honestly what inspired this video, and that is the Ophelia tank. And this is a fingering weight silk tank top that is V-neck with some really pretty feminine lace edging on the neck, arm, and hem. My vision, same silk skirt, same bow in my hair, but a long sleeve version of this with like a bit of a bell sleeve and the lace on the end. I think that would be stunning, babes, and it also kind of solves my sweaty hot problem of being too warm because it's knit in silk. I've been thinking about this. I think it looks so good on the models. It has waist shaping as well to really kind of give you like a figure, again, very feminine, enhancing your curves in your body. I really like that. Something like so compelling about all of her knits. She's a very specific style, an eye for design, which I really appreciate. The second top, which I think is beautiful, it's less of my own personal style, which is the Tied and True cardigan. This she knit in white, and I'm like, it looks so bridal. Like, I don't know if this is something that like I honestly would love wearing, or like I can't think of how I would style it necessarily, but I think for some girlies this would like fit perfectly into their wardrobe. Also another mohair silk knit on a larger gauge, and it has cap sleeves and also like this trend that we've been seeing of like a lot of ribbons and ties around the waist with a little cute peplum at the end. It is Gorgina. I think it's just like a skosh too feminine for what I'm like used to. I could totally see it as a bridal knit, maybe something that I would wear. And I just think it's so pretty. So again, if I don't knit this for my wedding, like somebody has to because it's so pretty. I've been thinking of little bows, little things I can put in my hair throughout this whole process. I've narrowed it down to like 3 main ideas and some patterns that go along with it for hair accessories. None of them are actual veils. I looked up knitted veils and honestly, they don't have like any of the fun volume that like a tulle veil has. They kind of just like sit on your head. I don't know if these would be for the wedding itself, but maybe more so the surrounding events. The first is a mohair scrunchie. I pulled up the Bisou scrunchie pattern because it's free on Ravelry by a designer called Camille K, and it reminds me of those like, I haven't worn one or owned one, but I think they're so cute. Those like really big scrunchies that people wear like around their bun. It's very like Brooklyn girl, and I think they're really cute. So I think either just like a normal scrunchie or a like a big frilly one could be a really fun accessory for any bridal event. And I also have 2 patterns saved from Anne-Sophie Velling, who is the designer behind Augustine's. And the first is Augustine's number 22, which is just a very simple little bow. I think I need a little knit bow for something. I need it. I just need it. I need a little white knit bow. Self-explanatory. Other one is the, I'm gonna say this wrong, it's the Edge hairband, and it's kind of a play on these big, like almost crown-like headbands I feel like have been popular in the past few years. Is also knit in mohair, and it's actually stuffed with used yarn to give it that volume and that poof, and then embellished with some little like mother of pearl details. This just screams bridal. It's definitely a statement and like a style piece. Honestly, I get headaches from wearing headbands, so I don't know if I would make this, but again, very cute. I love just like grandiose nature of it. Being the center of attention is the time, if you normally don't wear these things, that like you would maybe want to wear these things, if that makes sense. Or you're just someone that like loves to wear these things anyway. We have made it to like the actual wedding day itself, and I have some ideas of things that I would maybe want to get ready in, as well as just a few things to knit for like the wedding itself. Interesting, as we go through the events, I have like an increasingly less and less number of knits for like the actual wedding. But I think I don't want to worry too much about like knitting something that I would wear on the day itself, or like decorations or anything. That sounds, again, stressful. So for getting ready, I remembered I knit a ripple bralette and butt short set from Jessie Made when I first started knitting, and I was like obsessed with the idea of knitting shorts. I thought it was so fun. And when I was going through Ravelry again, I remembered that she also had another matching set, which is less form-fitting, and it's called the Flutter Butt Shirt and Butt Short set. Say that 10 times fast. Again, girly, feminine, flirty. I think this would look really cute in white, or like if I have a wedding color, it would also look cute in that as well. Girls have been doing like light blue for their wedding, light pink, a little pastel, and these are knit in a fingering weight, once again, on an open gauge. Like, that's really the theme for all of these patterns, but I think they would be so cute to get ready in. The one thing about the shirt is that you pull it over your head, and I know that when like you're getting your hair and makeup done, you would want to wear something that you don't want to pull over your makeup and pull over your done hair. This is a stretch. I was watching a TikTok of the cast of Summer House, and Sierra was wearing something that looked like this flutter shirt, but it was like a tied cardigan, and I think you could hack maybe this pattern to make it a tied cardigan, or like make it not in the round so that it has an opening, so maybe you can tie it, you can button it. You don't have to worry about pulling something over your makeup in your hair. I'm like really leaning towards. I think it's really fun, and like I had so much fun making shorts the first time, and I think I could improve upon my technique that I did as a very young baby knitter. So that's a fun idea as a little matching set. I also put one cardigan in here. I know Knitted by Whitney knit a cardigan for her wedding, which was beautiful. And thinking of getting ready, I'm also thinking of getting sweaty. I think I would be really hot getting ready in a cardigan even though I'm getting married in October. I put one sweater on here, which I've also been thinking about since last fall. It's the Darling sweater by Veronica Lindbergh. This is another sweater made in alpaca yarn. I think it's like an Issachar alpaca yarn. It's knit on 5mm needles. That seems to be the theme for this video. It's like a very casual cardigan. I think this in white with like a little pair of pajama shorts though could be really cute. Again, it'd be a little high. But again, I think that like fluffiness kind of adds to that like girly factor. I think it adds it to making it feel a little bit more special and a little bit more luxe also, I think comes from having things being fluffy. So that's maybe why I've been gravitating towards these textures more than just like wool, which is usually like, I'm a wool girl. I love just regular plain old 100% wool. I could even do this in like a merino though to still give it that like luxe feel. So there's a lot of options. But yeah, this looks warm but very cute. A little drop shoulder v-neck cardi action. I have two things that I might knit for my wedding day, and the one is more sure than the other, and it's actually not for me, and it's a pocket square. I would love to knit a pocket square for my fiance and maybe have like a little matching something on my bouquet. I think that would be really sweet in like a pop of color. That might be really fun. I found a free one on Ravelry and I just have to tell you, it's called the Jaunty SOB Pocket Square. And let me read the description to you. Is there a jaunty SOB in your life who likes pocket squares? Here's a deluxe hand knit 100% silk pocket square for you. And it's knit in seed stitch, which I think gives it a little bit of texture, a little bit of fun. It doesn't just look like a gauge swatch. It's cornered and edged very nicely, and I think if I was gonna knit a pocket square, it'd be something like this. This is a sweater that actually came up when I looked up bridal, and it is the Gorgeous Sweater by Joanna Gersich. I had the gorgeous top on my summer knits, and it incorporates just like a big old bow, which I love. My mom actually, her bridesmaids dresses, she got married in the 80s. They had these navy dresses with big puffy sleeves and just like a big old bow on the back. And I love that. Like, I love bows. I love that bows have like come back. I really don't know yet if like I will want a sweater to go over my dress. Again, mohair on 5mm needles to be C pattern. You can wear it frontwards or backwards, which I really like. So you can have a more boat neck feel, or you can do the V-neck with the bow in the front, or you can have a big old bow in the back. I think it would also be cool to like have a nod to my mom's wedding. Like, I don't have a bridal party, so I can't make all my closest friends wear butt bows, but I could wear one. And that would be kind of fun. We made it to the end of this video of white mohair knits. You deserve a reward. I toss my theoretical bouquet to you, and let me know if you knit anything for your wedding, or if you're thinking about knitting anything for your wedding. If you have any like dream wedding knits, I'd love to hear all about them, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye!